Welcome to Chess Nomad. Today I'm going to play a special opponent. His name is Josh. He's my son, and I'm going to text him real quick to play me or to challenge me. I tried to challenge him here with my computer. I guess with everything that I have here, I haven't been able to do it. So now he's been able to do it. So that's a lot easier. I'm white. We're going to push e4. And why can I push e4? Okay, here we go. Let me adjust the sound. Okay, let's leave the sound like that. And here we go, folks. This is my son playing. He's almost 20 years old. We've been playing since he was a little kid. I still remember making the same move over and over again, like hundreds of times, and checkmating him in 4 moves, and finally it something hit him that he's like, wait a minute, my dad is making these same moves over and over again, and I'm getting checkmated, so something is wrong here. Let me change my approach, and he did, and over time he got better and better, and now he's getting to be pretty good. So I have to be careful here not to lose my first game with my son. We might do, I don't know, maybe 3 out of, maybe best out of 5. So whoever wins 3 is the winner, or maybe best out of 3. Let's see how things go. First thing I need to do here is do a quick development. He's going to push, so he can't push maybe the knight. He might try bringing the knight, so we can, let's do that, and then we can bring our bishop here. I'm assuming he's going to bring the knight there, and we can pin his knight to the queen. So let's see if that's what he's going to do. He's thinking. That's good. Let the time expire. Okay, so he's preventing my bishop. So he's preventing bishop to g5. I feel like maybe let me just develop. So let's do that. Let's develop to c3 with a knight. Okay, so he's attacking my queen. He's pushing c5. We can move queen to d5. If we move queen to d5, then he's got knight to f6, attacking my queen. Then we're gonna have to move again, and we're just losing tempo here. So why don't we move with tempo? And we can also just do that, and we are threatening that if he doesn't accept. If he takes my queen, then I take his queen, and he's either going to take with the king, the bishop, or the knight. So let's see what we want to do. Do we want to trade? Do we want to avoid any trades right now? So let's see. I feel like if I come to c4, then he's got b. No, but that just hangs the pawn. So why don't we defend the pawn still with a queen, but we still have the knight here also guarding that pawn in case he pushes the knight to f6. If he does that, yeah, why don't we just go with the queen here? Okay, yeah, that's not going to help. I was going to say he can push d5, but that's not going to help him. So let me keep track of the time. I always lose track of time. I talk too much, even when I'm just playing with him without filming anything. I do lose track of time a lot. And okay, so now he's going to have bishop to e. He's going to have bishop to e6. So we can try to prevent that, or we can just do a trade. Why don't we just do that? He's going to have bishop. He's going to play bishop to e6, and then we just capture the queen. Or actually, we could just play. We can just play b5, attacking not the queen but attacking the king. He's going to have to defend with bishop or move the king, and then we can take the queen. Okay, so we are attacking the king as planned. So he's going to have to go back and defend. Okay, so now we can play this move. And what is that going to do to us? So if I play knight to c7, I am attacking the king and the rook. Not that way, but I'm attacking the rook. So ignore that arrow right there. So the king has to move. The king only has one square, so the king has to go here. So in that case, I do have this move, but queen to a5 is not enough, because then he's got that move. So that is not a good move. So I could just capture the queen. He captures. Why don't we do that? So I capture the queen. He's going to have to capture my queen, and then I take his bishop. Or if he doesn't capture my knight, what other possibilities do I have? So I can come back with the knight. All right, why don't we do that? Let's just capture the queen. So he captures. So we can do this. And if he doesn't do something, if he captures my bishop, I go back and I fork the king and I fork the rook. So, and I take the rook for a bishop. I think that's a good plan. I still have almost 5 minutes left. I feel like I still have plenty of time to win this game. Now, if he moves the king or the rook, or if he does castling, then I just take his bishop. I just go there and take his bishop. If he captures my bishop, then that's when I have the fork. And then after forking, he moves his king. I take the rook. Do I have to take the rook? Maybe, yeah. Take the rook. I can let him capture here. I can always recapture with my rook. So he's still thinking. I'm over here today in parts unknown, boondocking, and it's going to be raining today. So we already had some raindrops before. Okay, so he did move the rook, so he loses the bishop. He's probably going to push. Okay, so he didn't. I feel like if he pushes a6, then I have knight to b6, attacking his rook, giving me time to move my bishop out of the way. So why don't we just, at this point, why don't we just, let's just develop the bishop. And then we can castle queenside. Okay, so he attacked my bishop. So as planned, if I go bishop to b6, he does have, no, he can't, because then you would lose. I was going to say he's got rook to c6, but attacking my knight, but then he loses his. So let's just go there. He's going to have to move maybe here, or maybe any one of these squares up here on the 8th rank. If he moves his, okay, so we do that. Very good. Now I feel like I'm not going to castle queenside anymore. I am just going to begin. I'm going to begin to attack. I'm going to start pushing my pawns. So let's do that. Okay. Okay, so I don't want the knight to infiltrate here. So why don't we just push that pawn? Then next move, I think I'm going to castle. Depending on what he does, I think I'm just going to castle king side. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to castle king side. All right, so he's threatening my bishop. If I move the bishop, he's going to have g3, but g3 does nothing if I move. Okay, so if I move okay, so I see my bishop, my pawn's gonna hang here. If my pawn's hanging and my bishop is hanging, so why don't we defend both? I feel like he's gonna take my bishop. I'll take his knight, and then he's gonna capture pawn. Okay. That is fine. We do that. We prevent bishop to g3, threatening the pawn. So we can capture, which is to his advantage, or we can just push. No big deal. Okay, so now it's time to start pushing. Now it's time to start pushing our pawns. I'm going to move rook to d1, attacking that pawn. Now we're going to push. We're going to start pushing our pawns. I feel like next move I may want to move to d3 so that I can push c3. Okay, why don't we do that? I have 1:41 left, so I have to play pretty quick here. He's got a lot of time left, but I feel like I'm better. I feel like I'm winning the game. I got 2 rooks for his rook and bishop. I got 6 pawns, and he's got 7 pawns. So he's got a couple more pawns than me. He's got 1 more pawn than me. He's got a bishop for a rook. So I feel like I'm better. Let's push. All right, we'll just take, and now we can just bring the rook to c1. I mean, to c1, yeah. Attacking the king. Okay, so he didn't do that. So we can start pushing pawns here. So why don't we just push? And if he pushes b6, we can push a6. And then we have a passed pawn. Then if he moves, okay, so now we can attack. Maybe that was premature of me to do that. Yeah, it was probably premature of me, but so we still have pawn to b4. He's probably going to take, and then I can have that movement. So why don't we do that? So let's push pawn to b4. You're probably going to take. No, I can't go with. So we do that. Oh, and I just forgot my rook. Never mind, folks. I just lost my first game against my son because I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at the whole game. Yeah, this game now is getting is lost. Let's just say that. I did not play well enough. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's do... I can't really go here, so I feel like I have to go there. Okay. Let's do that. He's probably going to have rook. Okay. We're going to have to move our rook back. All right, never mind. So the kid has won. I did a pretty good job until I lost. I was winning until I lost my bishop. That's what happens, folks. So I did lose the first game. If we play, I haven't asked him yet, but if we play best out of 5, so I have now lost the first game. So let's see what the engine says that we did good and didn't do so well. Okay. Next key move. Okay, so knight takes on e7 is inaccurate. So let's retry. So what would be... So I was thinking... One of the moves I was thinking was knight to c7. Knight to c7 is a blunder. Okay. So... Okay, so we could just take. I don't know why it just didn't take the pawn on b7. And that is best. In the heat of the moment, I missed b7, but that would have been best. Okay, so here we have our problem with this button. Okay, so let's see. I missed opportunity to trade pieces, so I could have just done that. Okay, bishop takes bishop takes b5 is best. So I thought about doing that, but I thought about keeping both my pieces and attack his rook and king with a fork. once I move my knight to d5. But oh well, let's see what we did right in the next move or did wrong. So that was a great move, folks. That was a great move. I knew that. I would pat myself on the back, but I don't really want to do that yet because I lost. So let's see here. So that is inaccurate. That is a blunder. So what could we have done better here? Okay, we could have just maybe played bishop to h2. Yeah. At the time I didn't see bishop to h2, but that prevents knight from jumping around. We're going to lose the pawn on h4, but then we can kick the pawn away. Or we could just leave it alone, because then he's got knight and bishop eyeing this square. So yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. At this point, I feel like I should have just kept on pushing my pawns. And this pawn here was, I don't know if the computer said it was a good move. I feel like I should have waited with that move. I feel like maybe I should have pushed a6 first, but let's retry that. So that is a blunder. It's a blunder because the bishop takes. So what could I have done? I could have done maybe, I could have done a rook lift right there. That is a blunder. So maybe I could have just done that. That is a mistake. Okay. What about just that? Attacking the pawn. And that is a mistake. Okay, so what could I have done? I could have maybe started moving my king. So moving my king to g3 is asking for h4. So maybe moving my king here, but then he's going to start bringing his pawns down. Okay, so that is a mistake too. Okay, so maybe just attack his pawn, or maybe just attack his pawn like that. Okay, so that is a blunder. So let's try like that. So now we leave that pawn open, but we can take this one. So we can trade pawns, but that is a blunder also. I don't see what the best move I could have done here. Okay, maybe just pushing king and then pushing pawn, but he's got pawn to h4. Okay, so king g3 is best, because then I can push pawn, but then you can push this pawn. So I feel like I don't quite get. Okay, so because if he pushes that pawn, then I can take this pawn here, and then next I'm going to bring that pawn to f4. Okay, so I see what's going to happen there. So that's it, folks. We have improved our ratings a little bit, but I still lost the game. It is what it is. We're going to play a couple more games, so stay tuned. Until then, I'll see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe, press the like button and the little bell icon so you can be notified of future videos, and I will see you next time, folks.